Hey guys, as promised, this is my video for the Sony PS-LX3. If you haven't yet seen my how to buy a turntable video, I recommend watching that first. I show off this turntable a lot more in that video. This video is probably going to be pretty short. It's actually more of almost a camera test. I have a new Panasonic Lumix G7. It's a 4K camera. This is my first 4K video, and hopefully this turns out well. If it does, my videos from now on should look even better. So let's get started and take a look at what makes this such a cool turntable. Now first, just a brief rundown of what this turntable actually is. This is a fully automatic direct drive turntable made by Sony in 1981, made in Japan. The plinth is made out of Sony's bulk molding compound, somewhat similar to plastic. It is painted, it's black underneath. It is very heavy. It's not really plastic. It is a special material that is designed specifically for anti-vibration, for dampening basically. So it is quite heavy, absorbs vibrations, and actually feels like metal. And I'll just throw some of the specifications for it up on the screen for you now. Now the first thing I want to show you guys about this turntable is just the amazing condition. I mentioned that in my how to buy a turntable video. Condition is the most important thing, and it's really rare to find a good turntable in this kind of condition from the 1970s or 80s. Normally they're really beat up, especially, you know, if you're only paying less than $100. I paid $74 for this turntable, and as you can see, even the dust cover, I mean, there are a few little scratches on the front and back. It looks like at one point either records or the platter were clanging against that, maybe in shipping, I don't know. But I managed to get most of that out with Brasso. That's one little tip. You can look up some other videos on how to do that on YouTube. You just use Brasso like you're using it on anything else, and it polishes most of the scratches right out. So I did use that. It looks great now to me. It's a little bit yellowed. That's kind of normal for a turntable that's 30-some, almost 40 years old. But basically looks great. Obviously you see everything else. I mean, there's barely a scratch on this turntable. A few little things over here. I can live with any of that. When I bought this turntable, it was missing some pieces. I ordered those off eBay as well. You know, all told, I probably spent about $100 on this turntable, and it's practically in showroom condition. I bought the turntable with an XLM3 cartridge that I saw in the photos, but that the seller didn't seem to really know anything about. The XLM3, the ADC XLM3, is considered one of the best consumer-level cartridges ever made. It's about a $300 cartridge in itself. And it came with an XLM3 Mark II stylus, which was completely broken. I did have to replace that. And the closest OEM stylus that I could find was the XLM2 that you see here. The XLM2 is still a great stylus, and when you consider that the cartridge itself is a $300 cartridge, the entire turntable cost me less than $100. I think I got a pretty good deal there. And of course, that stylus and cartridge are connected to one of Sony's ultra-low mass tone arms. Sony, at the time this turntable was made, was one of the leaders in tone arm technology and research. And they had developed this line of tone arms, which were probably about half the thickness of a standard tone arm, made of metal. They're still very solid, but they have a lot less mass than a regular tone arm. They do only take Sony head shells. It's not difficult to find these if you need to find one, and they're not that expensive. I really don't think the proprietary nature of these is really anything to worry about. I did actually buy a second head shell. I have two of these. This one looks plastic, but they're actually both metal. And I got this one because the first one I had, I thought it was slightly bent. I'm not sure about that anymore, but anyway, it's a nice tone arm, and it works really well. And just to go through some of the controls, here we have your queuing button. This is actually a button, but it works like a lever. It's not just up or down. You can actually press it kind of halfway. Here's the start-stop. That's for the automatic operation. You never really have to pick up the head shell if you don't want to. Here we have the repeat function, speed function, and this is just the little light that tells you the servo lock is on, meaning the speed is locked. And here we have your power on-off button. Now the back of the turntable is actually kind of interesting. You see this little light here. This is not just to tell you in the dark if you have a record on the turntable. It actually is part of the automatic operation system for the turntable. You see these little holes here in the mat. What this light is doing is shining light into those holes. There are sensors down there, and those sensors will then know if there's a record covering either 7 inches of the mat or 12 inches of the mat, and therefore it will know where to put the needle down on top of the record. These little turntable guides here, that's what they're called, record guides actually. These are actually somewhat useless, but I think they're kind of a neat idea. Their entire function is basically that when you put a record on the turntable, generally you're going to be angling it back like this, and these will stop you either from banging into the back of the dust cover. You can tell the previous owner of this turntable did not use these. Or if you happen to have the dust cover off, they'll keep you from just sliding the record all the way off into the back of the wall or whatever. Kind of dumb, but I think it's actually kind of a neat idea. One thing, if you do buy one of these turntables on the internet, chances are it's not gonna come with these. Almost everybody stopped using these or never used them. Didn't see the point, I guess. But almost every auction that I've seen for these turntables is missing those. I had to actually go and buy these separately. They were quite hard to find. I had to set up an eBay alert for them. Finally found them and bought them right away. So that's one thing to be aware of if you're a completist as I am. Now on the other side, we have the 45 adapter. My turntable again did not come with that. I had to buy that separately. And of course the counterweight system for the tone arm and anti-skate. And that's pretty much it. Pretty standard stuff on this side. Now just going back to this sensor system that I was talking about with the light and the sensors for the automatic turntable operation. If you do buy one of these turntables on the internet, it has to have its original mat, or another mat like this at least. It has to have these slots in it. So don't go out and just buy any mat from anywhere. If you buy one of these and it's missing a mat, you need one of these. If you do need help finding a part like that, like this particular mat, or even the record guides, head shell, anything like that, and you can't find it on eBay, one suggestion that I can make is organdonorparts.com. They have a lot of great stuff for a lot of these turntables. I found my extra head shell there, so check them out if you're looking for something specific. And here's the back label. Made in Japan, back when Sony was still doing that. And I'll try just playing a little bit of music for you. We'll see how YouTube handles this. This is the last My Bloody Valentine album, not a major label release from what I remember, so we will see if YouTube flags it. Hopefully they don't. I'm just going to play a little bit, and obviously keep in mind you're not going to really get how this sounds in real life, but I just kind of want to show you that it works. So here we go. So there you go, it works. And that's about all I can probably play for you. So I hope you enjoyed this look at my Sony PS-LX3. Maybe you'll want to pick one up for yourself. There are obviously a lot of other great turntables out there, but I really like this one a lot. So that's it, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.